Hello again. So this section, we are going to deal extensively about consumer protection regulation, your rights as a borrower. And it's very, very important to go through this thing because many people are just looking for shortcuts. There's no shortcut to this thing called loan apps, even generally loan. It is very, very important for you to know your rights. Like, you have to know your right like the back of your hand. No, there is no other option. There is no other option. Please, I encourage you to follow us through. There is no other option to this thing. You must know your right like the back of your hand. And the best thing you can do for yourself now is to start reading. Follow us. We are going to show you. We are not. This is directly from CBN. We will try as much as possible to review it together so that it will be very easy for you to understand what we are saying. Know your right as a borrower. If you know your right as a borrower, you will be able to deal with this loan app, microfinance bank, even bank successfully. Today we will focus extensively on your rights and GSI extensively. And it is expedient for you to know what works and what cannot work. So let's continue. So this is Consumer Protection Regulation 2019, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 2019. And they've not reviewed it, at least to the best of my knowledge. So it is expedient that you follow through. Now let's see how the government, they have provided a guideline to protect you. If you will still fall victim of loan apps, then something is wrong with you. After going through this thing, something is definitely wrong with you. Now let's continue. Now under this the table of content, we talk about fair treatment. Government, thanks to CBN, they provided fair treatment. They provided disclosure and transparency, responsibility, compliance, section, and sanctions. So for unfair and exploitative practice by institutions in their dealings with the consumers, for unethical and predatory practices. So federal government, they've realized that, CBN, they've realized that some people will want to use mago, as in tricks to exploit consumers. Like all those 7 days loan app, 14 days loan app, all those are tricks to exploit Nigerians. I see no reason why you should be paying those criminals. I see no reason. It's just unfortunate that Nigerians are so weak and so naive. That's just it. Someone is giving you 40% on loan in 7 days, and you still believe that person is helping you in times of need. Something is wrong with you. So let's continue. Now, the fair treatment, general provision. Any lender that will not treat you fairly, there are really costs on you. You'll be mumu if you are paying that kind of money. You can sue them to court, and you're going to win that case effortlessly. That's the truth. Because many Nigerians don't really know what is going on at all. So treat consumers equitably without bias at all stages of the relationship. There's nothing like we borrow you in times of need. You have to treat them like a real person, not that you'll be giving the consumers unnecessary headache. So let's continue. Now, equity. Treat consumer with courtesy and respect, and shall not engage in practices such as threats, intimidation, use of abusive or offensive language, humiliation, misrepresentation, deception, or unfair inducement. If any loan apps, especially CBN license, they are doing this to you, and your mumu head did not tell you that you are not going, you should even tell them you are not going to pay that money again. That's the problem. And Nigerians don't really understand this simple principle. This is coming directly from CBN. Treat consumer with courtesy and respect, and shall not engage in practices such as threats, intimidation, use of abusive or offensive language, humiliation, misrepresentation, deception. For a loan app to be calling your names and be raising calls that they will defame you, and you still have your mumu's essence will not. You don't have this sense to tell you that these people are violating your rights because of what? Because of what? Intimidation, misrepresentation, and you still have this guts to say you want to pay them. Something is wrong with you, to be honest. That's the problem. Nigerians must wake up from their slumber. Very weak. This generation is extremely weak. extremely weak. Know your right. Anybody that is giving you water, intimidating you, you should know that you should tell them that you're not going to pay again. There's nothing they can do. If they need their money, let them meet you in court and provide all this evidence. Make sure you have all this evidence. Store it. That is your right. That is how you will prove to them that yes, you are indeed indeed know your rights. How on earth will someone be bullying you because you borrow money and you are begging them for what? You wanted to pay back. So anything. So let's just continue. The next one is unfair contract terms. Unfair contract terms. Contracts between institution and consumer shall not contain unfair terms. You cannot just come up and say everything has to be on terms. They have to negotiate it. It's like you are buying markets. Contract terms shall be considered unfair where there is an imbalance in rights. If there is an imbalance, if you borrow 100,000 naira, within 2 months, that money 100,000 has turned to 250,000. That is imbalance. That is unfair advantage. They're trying to extort you. They're trying to make you feel unimportant. You should see that everything like that is void and null. Right? An obligation which are detrimental to the consumer. So they're protecting you. Anything that will be detriment that is causing a lot of problem for you. By default, that thing is gone. Section 3.31, it says, without limitation to the general meaning of unfair contract terms, a contract term is considered unfair. Look at it now. They've listed all the unfair, it's considered unfair. If, number one, A, eliminates or limit the liability of an institution to loss are caused to a consumer by misrepresentation, negligence, and misleading information on its products or services. So let's read it again. If it eliminates or limits the liability of an institution to loss caused by consumer, so it is called unfair too. Representation. Now, number B, it is called bind a consumer to an obligation while the corresponding obligation on the institution is conditional. So you are binding me to an obligation that is difficult for me to pay. For instance, you are having 1% daily on my loan, which is outrightly against another policy, which I'm going to show. That is called unfair lending. So that is it. That is what we're saying here. Terminate a contract or alter its clauses without reasonable notice to the customer. You can't just wake up and say you want to just be doing anything without informing me that I borrow from you. It's not possible. We're not going to accept. Otherwise, we take it to court. Now, let's continue. Let me just jump. Number F, eliminate or limit the right of consumer to seek legal redress in event of a breach. They don't want legal redress. Okay, this one is completely applicable to, let's say for instance, if it's a collateral-based loan. Some loan company will just seize your contract, your properties without going through court. That is what you're trying to say here. That is unfair. Let's continue. Allow unilateral change to the contract without stating the circumstances under which the change could be made. You can negotiate anything with loan apps or loan company. Now, purport to waive any protection provided by law, regulation, or guideline. Anything that has to do with guideline and they are violating it, but that thing is unfair. Now, another thing is unfair terms used in contract are void. Check this one out. This is powerful. Unfair terms used in contract are void and shall not be binded on consumer. Any unfair terms, they are void by default. Any 1% loan, 1% daily overdue are void by default because it violates CBN policy. I'm going to show you that one too. It violates it. So by default is void and null. Don't deceive you. Anybody that is having 1% on your loan is void and null. Let's continue. Contract terms that conflict with any laws of regulation or regulation. Let me do that again. Contract terms that conflict with any laws or regulations are null and void by default. No, there is nothing to discuss about it to the extent of their inconsistency. Anything you do, any terms, that agreement is null and void. But the meaning of null is irrelevant. Adding 1% on your loan every day is irrelevant. It's null and void. Don't be a mumu. No, wake up from your slumber. That's just it. You are now obliged to pay that kind of money. Know your right as a borrower. Know your right. It's null and void. That terms is null and void by default. Where there is any doubt or ambiguity about the meaning of the term used in a contract or other document provided to a consumer, the interpretation must be favorable to the consumer shall prevail. If there is any issue between you, they are going to consider consumer, not lenders, because they know that their wayo is too much. So you need to get this thing right. Know your right as a borrower. Stop creating mumu mindset for yourself. Stop creating mumu mindset. Let's continue. Agreed with consumer on the communication channel to be used for all correspondence and include the channel in all contract documents. Now let's continue. So anything there must be a contractual document. Don't forget the agreement must be in line with policy, the CBN policy and guidelines. If it's not in line, whatever they write there is null and void by default. Null and void by default. So don't be confused in any form. Now, the next one is for advertisement. For content of advertisement shall be factual and unambiguous, expressed in clear and simple language, and shall be offensive, misleading, deceptive, injurious, or exaggerate the benefit of the product or services being advertised. You cannot be advertising that borrow 100,000 naira and pay 102 in 7 days or in 90 days. You cannot be telling us that, and eventually by the time we get it, we now realize that it's different from what we are advertising. It's null and void. The overall impression of the advertisement shall not emphasize benefits of the product or services, while de-emphasizing is associated risk involved. So you need to understand this thing, that government, CBN, they've tried their best to give you your right. It is left for you to be a complete mumu or not. Let's continue. Give a consumer a cooling off period. Check it out. Give a consumer a cooling off period of 3 working days after the signing of a credit contract, within which the consumer may cancel the contract. You have 3 good days to cancel any contracts. Any contract. So if anybody that is sending application to that is sending loan to you, you did not apply for it and they send it to you and they are asking you to pay. In fact, you'll be mumu if you pay that kind of money. Your mumu is in another level. Look at it now. Give a consumer a cooling off period of 3 working days after the signing of a credit contract, with which the consumer may cancel the contract without having to pay any penalty or charges. Any penalty or charges. However, the consumer may choose to waive the option by notifying the bank in writing. That's it. Maybe you just want to collect it. Let's move on. No, you have 3 working days to say I'm not interested in this loan. So don't let anybody cajole you and give you nonsense talk about loan. Don't let anybody cajole you. These people are criminally minded. They're not interested in anything but to ruin you financially. That's it. So please, ensure that variation on interest shall only be implemented after the requisite notification to consumer. 10 working days by deposits money bank, and 5 working days for other institutions. So that is, you have to inform me that, please, we want to increase our interest and all those things. But this one is specifically applicable to banks and the real microfinance, the physical one. Now let's continue. Because Nigerians need to wake up from their slumber. Disclosure of default and credit repayment. Let's check this one out. Consumer institutions that are, this is very, very powerful. Institutions that are DMB. DMB stands for Deposit Money Banks. That is like our normal commercial bank, GT Bank, First Bank, and all those ones are deposit, so they accept money. So that is for DMB. Shall notify consumer within 3 days from the first day of default through the agreed medium that a default charge will be applied on the account after 7 days from the date the obligation becomes due. That is when after 7 days they give you 7 days grace before they apply the the overdue, and the deal overdue is just 1%. We don't know this thing, and they will still be working as in thinking these people are doing them favor. This is for banks. Now let's see for microfinance, the real microfinance, consumer of institution other than deposit money bank. This one is for banks. So other than that is microfinance bank, bank of industry, they are not DMPs, shall be not notified on the first day of default, not before, on the first day of default, that default charge shall be applied on the account after 3 days from the date the obligation becomes due. After 3 days. You see, Nigerians, wake up, wake up, wake up. Don't let these people turn you to punching bag. After 3 days, not every day. And this accrue default payment is just 1% in a month, not 1% every day. The last one, default charges shall be disclosed in customer statement of account separately from the interest charge. Some of them do accept this. Anyway, let's continue. Responsible lending. To ensure that the capability of consumer to repay credit are professionally assessed, institutions shall comply with these following requirements. Before granting, it is not my responsibility. Why are you giving money to people that you know that you are just giving money out anyhow to people? It's your responsibility to do your due diligence to know that will this person be able to pay back my money? It's your responsibility. Before granting credit to consumers, assess their capability to repay in a sustainable manner, taking into consideration their financial circumstances. So if you give money to Olosho or you give money to people that are not worthy, that is your own problem. If you give money to team, that's your own problem. You're supposed to go to them, but because you really want to make money from this, that's why you are giving money out, like as if you are Father Christmas or Santa Claus. So, and if you have defaulted and people have paid back, you must issue letter of discharge at no cost to customer within 5 business days after liquidation of their loan. So if you pay your money and they did not give you discharge letter, you can sue them for that. Let's continue. So debt collection, this is critical. To ensure that debt recovery process are transparent, cautious, and fair, devoid of undue pressure, intimidation, harassment, humiliation, or threat, institutions shall engage and give customer notice of outstanding obligation prior to commencement of debt collection. 5.1.2. Initiate foreclosure. Foreclosure only means that if there is collateral involved, when other recovery steps are being. So this one is if there is any collateral involved, you have to make sure that you have done everything possible to recover your money before you can sell that property. You cannot just say, okay, you've stopped paying me, therefore, yeah, give me my money. I mean, your property belongs to me. Like, that's not how it works. You must have gone through collection, reminder, default, everything to get your money back. In fact, most of the time, this one, before it gets to this thing, it should be about after 1 year or sometimes 2 years. So Nigerians need to wake up from their slumber and know this thing. Know your rights so that you will not be suffering. Now, section 5.5.3, give customer the option of a private sale. So even if you default on a loan, maybe banks now, you can sell your property and give it to them. You sell at a better price than them selling for you. So that's the meaning of this. Now, this one is very powerful. Section 5.5.7. Not engage in any of the following. No lender, they no bond lender aware that they should engage in any of the following. If you see any lender engage in any of the following, and you drag them, you be mumu. Your mumu should get degree. Let's read it together. Contracts not engage in the following: contact friends, employer, relatives, or neighbors of a customer for any information other than information on employment status, telephone numbers, or address except where the person has guaranteed the loan. If any, or let's read the second one, the person has consented to be contacted. If any loaner, maybe rent money, I think they are fond of doing that, rent money, LAPO and all those things, contact your friend or go to your place of work to come and demand for their loan or the loan repayment, for their loan repayment, and you still dey fear, they should flog you. That's it. They must never do this. The only person they can contact is the person that serves as your guarantor, or the person that maybe emergency number. They cannot come to your place of work. If they try it, make sure you have a record of what they have done. As in those who came to your office, and make sure that you send the message to as many companies as possible. I mean, NDIC, all of them. Please, we talk about that. Any loan app cannot contact your friend, employer rather. They cannot contact your employer. They cannot contact your relatives or neighbor. It is not possible. They should not. They must. They must never do that. So don't be scared. You must know your rights. The next thing is require any of the person listed in above to offset the debt, except where the person has acted as a guarantor. They cannot call your friend, your family, your brothers and sisters and be telling them, come and offset this guy's loan. It's not possible. So you'll be mumu if you don't know. Now, this is the shocking part. Make telephone or personal contact with customer between the hour of 6 p.m., 9 p.m., and 8 a.m. for the purpose of debt recovery, except with the prior consent to the consumer. They cannot call you between 6 p.m. in the evening, 9 p.m. at night, that they are calling you to remind you of your loan. It's not done. Please, let's wake up from our slumber. Sanctions. Now, if they violate any of this law, see, 500K, 2 million, 100K, there are a lot of failure to comply with other provisions in the regulation and as specified above shall cause attract sanction provided in all these things. So there are a lot of sanctions over them, as in that is giving them a lot of problems. That's why they can't do anyhow. Let's continue. Let's check this one out. This one is Prudential guideline for microfinance bank. Now, it's provisioning. Now, when you borrow money from loan apps, this is how they operate. Loan classification shall be classified as performing and non-performing. When you borrow money from loan apps, CBN license or any one of them, after 30 days or when you default on that loan, it will be classified as non-performing. But if you are paying regularly, it will be classified as performing. That's how it is. So what they are saying is CBN is telling them that if it is performing, at the moment they give you that loan, there is a 5% buffer that they have to save that, in case this person defaults on that loan. That's how it works, as in on the interest. So in case this person defaults on the interest, they are not going to they will accept that they've lost 5%. Now that's what they're saying about non-performing. Now the problem. Every time you pay your loan on time, you are telling them that you don't want the loan to get to non-performing. That's why the first month that you default on your loan, they will call you to glory. Why? Because they don't want you to default. Because in reality, it's not favorable to them. So they want you to pay on time. But by default, at the end of 90 days, the loan will be classified as doubtful after 90 days. And they need to provision another 15%. I think I'll show you that one. Provision another 50% of that loan. So that it will be very, very easy for everyone to know that, this is what is going on. And so they are the one providing. So all this overdue interest that they are adding is actually illegal. Lost credit facilities. After 90 days, they have to stop adding overdue interest on that loan. So that it will be very easy for you to pay. So that you can pay on installments. And this 1% daily is outrightly illegal. So don't be deceived. Let's continue. We'll check it now. A structured or rollover facility shall not be treated as a new facility. Now, let's say, for instance, you are owing, any loan apps, not all a CBN license. Fair money. You are owing fair money or carbon or branch or umber. You now want to restructure your loan. Most of the time, all these criminal loan apps, you know what they do? They will set it as if it's a new loan. No, you need to tell them this is not a new loan. So why will you be restructuring me and be adding the overdue interest on it? You need to know your rights. This is A structured or rollover facility shall not be treated as a new facility. This cannot be treated as a new facility, so you cannot be handing over to interest. It's like they want to restructure the loan for me so that it will be easy for me to pay back. Don't you get it? That's the meaning of restructuring. Not that you now had extra bundle of debts on me because I want to. And CBN has provided that if you want to restructure loan, it can only be 1%. It can only be 1%. So please, let's be guided. No restructure. There is nothing like let me restructure my loan and they will now add over additional extra interest on it. It's not. You have to oblige that you are not going to accept that. You are not going to pay until we address this in court. They cannot go to court because they know that all these things their ears will open. So let's be guided and let's continue. Provisioning for non-performing facilities, that is, the loan has been delinquent for a long time. General provision, 2% of the outstanding balance of the performing facility. So what they are saying is they need to provide for that loan. Now, like let's say you borrow your friend 50,000 naira. You say, this money, I know that this guy may not return this money. Let me just know that. Let me provide additional 10,000 naira as a buffer for myself. So that if the person you have another business that you are doing. So if this person did not pay back the money, let me use this my business that I'm doing separately to offset the loan. So I know that this guy, and I will know that I will not borrow the money. That's the meaning of provisioning. So please, let's be guided. Nigerians must wake up. So this is it. So CBN said performing loan, if it is performing loan, they will provide 2%. If it is within 60 to 90 days, the person did not pay back, they provide 5%. If it is 90 days, they provide 20%, 180 days, 50%, and 181 days. So the reason is that they can, if they want to use GSI on that loan, they cannot auto-debit the amount that the accrued amount. They cannot auto-debit it. They cannot auto-debit the accrued amount. They can only auto-debit the amount and the initial interest, not the accrued amount, because they provision it that they are going to pay for it. Get this thing. If you want me to get this thing, you will have life. And I encourage everyone, please, it is time for us to wake up from our slumber. So let's move on. Now, the cybercrime, this one is very, very important. For loan app that are cyberbullying you, cyberstalking, giving you water back to back, you must wake up from your slumber and fight back. This is cybercrime. Now, let's go through the cybercrime because there are a lot of things that I want to show you here. For you to know that you must know your rights as a borrower. Now, a person under Section 13, a person who knowingly access any computer network or input, alter, delete, or suppress. For those of you that are telling you that I can help you delete your contacts, I can help you delete your name. See, kiri, that is where you will land if they catch you. This is 3 years imprisonment or 7 million naira or both. For you to pay someone to go and be that the person should delete someone's information from their database, is 3 years in imprisonment and 7 years or both. So why are you looking for something that is not even possible in the first place? A person who is knowingly or without authority or in excess of authority cause any loss of property or damage, because they can tell you that you damage their property by giving out, by paying their hackers to come and destroy their properties, and you're going to pay heavily for it. If not, in fact, they will send you to jail. See, another by altering, erasing, or inputting or suppressing any data held in any computer, whether or not for the purpose of conferring any economic benefits on himself. Now 3 years imprisonment or 7 years or 7 million naira. A person with intent to defraud, send electronic messages materially, this represents any fact and all that. We are going to spend 5 years in prison and 10 million naira. So this is from all those things that will send you to jail. Now let's continue. This one is for cybercrime. A person who knowingly makes or send other graphic images to another computer, porn images to another computer by way of unsolicited distribution, commit an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term of 1 year or a fine of 250,000 naira. There is a way they can rope you in such a way that you are going to pay 25 million naira. 25 million. By the time they rope everything alongside with you, you are going to pay minimum of 25 million naira. So please, let's be guided. Or you spend 15 years in prison. So for anybody that is sending you all these loan apps, sending you, I will blackmail you, I will make sure I destroy everything you have ever worked for, I will do this, is they are going to pay minimum of 25 million naira. That's it. Cyberbullying, cyber stalking. So why are you paying them after all this thing? Why are you still paying them? Why are you still paying them? Let's continue. A person who knowingly or intentionally send a message or other matter by means of computer or network that is grossly offensive, con in nature, or incidents or menace, character, or cause any such messages or matter to be or so. He knows to be false for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience, danger, obstruction, insult, injury, criminal intimidation. Number 3, this person commits an offence under this act and is liable on conviction to a fine of not more than 7 million naira or imprisonment for a term not more than 3 years or both. So any loan apps that is giving you water, they are owing you 7 million naira. Any loan apps giving you water back to back, they are owing you 7 million naira. Wake up from your slumber. They are owing you 7 million naira. Wake up. Any loaner that will tell you, if you don't pay, I will distribute your information on social media. If you don't pay, I will make sure I do this. They are owing you 7 million naira. They are owing you 7 million naira. That sink into your coconut head. They are owing you any loan apps, defaming you, doing this, doing that, all those nonsense. They are owing you 7 million naira. So it's a choice if you still want to remain in the bondage of loan apps. A person who knowingly or intentionally transmits or cause the transmission of any communication through computer to bully, threaten, harass another person, where such communication places another person in fear of death, violence, or bodily harm on another person, and all those nonsense. Containing any threat to kidnap and all those things, containing any threat to harm or property. This is 25 million naira or 10 years minimum, 10 years in prison. 25 million or 10 years in prison. So wake up. Loan app is threatening you and you still have guts to pay them back. What's wrong with you? Now let's go to guideline to GSI, which is very, very important. A lot of people don't really know about GSI, Global Standing Instruction. It's not applicable to everyone. It's not that anybody can use Global Standing Instruction. It's only for banks and maybe Bank of Industry and a few other microfinance, like and there's this government-owned microfinance. It's not really applicable to everybody. So don't be deceived about all these things. And if you are owing banks, you should know that you have to pay. If you are owing CBN license, as in microfinance, I'm talking about LAPO and the rest, create a repayment plan and pay them off and enjoy your life. But anyone that is cyberbullying, cyberstalking, doing all sorts of things, no payment. Don't pay them. Don't pay them. That's just the total truth. So global standing instruction for individuals, and is effective starting from 2018. I think 2020. If I've been owing since 2018, it's applicable to you. Now, please, like I said, it's not for everybody. It's for banks and microfinance, and banks and core Bank of Industry and all those major financial institutions, except those ones. So let's continue with their old stuff. Now, this one thing about global standing instruction is that once there is a global standing instruction on your account, on your BVN, it's for lifetime. Even if you buy, they can still deduct your money. As long as that account, that BVN exists, they will still deduct money from it. So it is very, very important to understand that if you are owing banks, please create a repayment plan and pay them. And one thing you need to know about, okay, let's see so that you will not say it's coming from me directly. Objective of GSI to facilitate and improve credit repayment culture, reduce non-performing loan in the banking industry, and listing consistent loan defaulters. Note, GSI shall not serve as a tool to recover any penal charges. There is not applicable to penal charges. This is penalty. You cannot use GSI to charge penalty. Did you get that, sir? Ma, you cannot use GSI to charge penalty that may have accrued on a credit or loan and included as part of outstanding balance. It's not for that. GSI, if you see any loan in microfinance or banks or any bank, microfinance or anybody using GSI and they use it to withdraw your penal charge, write petition to CBN, they're going to fine them heavily and they're going to reverse the money. So, outstanding balance obligation of a borrower. It is not for outstanding, it's not for accrue interest. All those daily, they will not charge it. So, even GSI is normal, not be, so don't disturb yourself at all. Eligible account type. If your account is BVN link and it's a savings account, current account, domiciliary account, they've not implemented it fully, but at least it's still part of. They're still trying to add that as well. Investments or deposit accounts and electronic wallets. Above also applies to joint account. So if you are owing and your wife and you and your wife, you are using the same account with the same BVN, well, your money don't go. Please know that it's only applicable to banks. Stakeholders' role and responsibility. So people that are involved in GSI, the borrower account, the bank, creditors bank, the participating financial institution, and NIBS. NIBS is responsible for all transactions between banks. For instance, GT Bank and the First Bank. If you transfer from GT Bank and you automatically receive it in your First Bank account, that connection is what we call NIBS, interbank transaction. So they are responsible for that. They are also responsible for GSI. They are responsible for card. They are responsible for many things. So that is NIBS, but they are powered by CBN and all these major banks. Okay, so borrowers shall execute a GSI mandate in hard copy or digital form. So once you borrow from banks and others, you have this mandate that they can withdraw your money. Ensure that all qualifying accounts are linked to his or her BVN. So if you don't have BVN, you cannot even borrow in the first place. Note, in the event that the borrower's qualifying account, which is not linked to his or her BVN, such BVN shall be watch listed. That one, you don't have to talk about that because it's not really important. Now, creditors bank. Ensure that borrowers are properly educated about GSI. I think we know about it now. Retain copies of physical or digital version of the executed GSI mandate and to provide same when required. Now, the one that is very, very important is ensure that the GSI trigger amount is only for outstanding principal and accrue interest, excluding any penal charges. Let's say, for instance, fair money. I'm just using fair money for as a case study. Let's just assume that they want to use GSI. You borrow 1 million naira from, let's say you borrow 1 million naira from fair money to pay back 1.5, and they've added additional 1.5 to it, making it 2-point-something million or 3 million. Even if they want to use GSI, is that 1.5 million naira that they will remove? Not all the accrued interest. So let's be guided. You don't need to understand this thing. It's very, very important. So don't let anybody give you. This is coming directly from CBN. So that's why I didn't use my face. I had to show you directly so that you will see it yourself the way it is. Now, the second, comply with CBN Prudential guideline as it applies to classification of loan. Please, let's be guided. It is very, very important we know, we understand all these things. And it's being triggered by NIBS. This one is specifically for NIB issue, not a bank that they can go, maybe they have access to it, they can now go to their platform and be doing it from their own end. No, it's not like that. So please, let's be guided and let's do the needful. Guide to charges by banks, other financial institutions, and non-financial institutions. January 1. Let us see the guide to charges so that you will understand this is how they operate. Other financial institutions, Microfinance bank. Now, if you go to this time, current account, this is for interest on deposit. That's if you want to deposit money with them. Savings account, 30%. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in interest rates on lending fee. Now, the interest rate on lending fee on loan authorized, it is called negotiable. Before, it was 3%, maximum of 3%. Now, negotiable it is subject to MPR, monetary policy rates, and other supporting documents. Currently in Nigeria, the monetary policy rate is 26.5. Last year it was 27.5. And it is not that one is the benchmark. You cannot say it's now a monetary policy rate, so therefore I can add 50% on that loan. It doesn't work that way. So there is a benchmark which is 27% per month, 27% per year. 27.5% per year, which is let me bring out my calculator. So 27.5%, 27.5 divided by 12 will give you 2.2% or 2.3% per month. Now this is what CBN recommended, like flat rates. Now, give or take, they know that there will be operational costs, there will be SS, there will be staff, and all those things. They expect them to, even if you are charging 5%, we can still say, well, it's high, but like most banks, they charge about 3%, 3.2, 3.5, 2.8, just like that. The highest I've seen for banks is around 3% per month. Now, even if you are loan apps or microfinance, they are supposed to charge maximum, even if it is 100% now, which is 5%. 5% on loan, we can say is exploitative. Let me tell you, and even 5% is high. Not to talk of loan apps or all these microfinance bank charging as much as 20%. Can you see the difference between 2.2% and 20%? That's about 1,000% high. Not even 100%, not 200, not 300, not 400, not 500, 1,000%. To tell you that these guys, no, if we don't act fast, this guy is going to give us a lot of problems. They are going to give us a lot of problems. All these loan apps. Imagine 2.2, and if they want to charge, that's times 10. That's 22 times 10 of it. Times 10, that is about 1,000%. 2.2. So times 10 of what CBN said they should do. They are doing times 10. Some of them are doing times 50, times 100. That is exploitative. That's why they can't do anything. It's like, imagine charging 40% on loan in 7 days. So 40% times 4, that's 160% compared to 2.2%. Even if we call it, even if it is 8%, we can say, okay, maybe because of risk. Compared to 2, that is, may God help us in Nigeria. That one is by the way. Now, unauthorized overdrafts. Okay, we don't have to talk about overdraft because this one is basically for Kuda. I think only Kuda and some other, a few other ones are doing overdraft. Micro leasing. If you notice, everything is negotiable. The meaning of negotiable is you discuss. This is how much I have. This is how much I'll pay. Even after you have defaulted, this is how much I'll pay, and all that. You default. Now, the one that is very, very important to me is this penal rate. For late repayment of loan, authorized overdue, micro leasing, microfinance, related hire purchase, and other advancements. Maximum of 1% flat rate per month. Not 1% per day. Not 1% per day. Not 2% per day. Not 3% per day. Not compound interest. Maximum of 1% per month on unpaid amount in addition to the charging current rate of the interest on that outstanding debt without prejudice to the provision of the Prudential. That is, in addition, simply means they will, what you have on ground, they will add 1% on top of it. Let us say, okay, because of their supporting and every other thing that they tend to add, let's even make it 4% in a month. But these people, they no drill. They say no, they must add it on daily basis. And Mumu Nigerians are paying them. That's the annoying part. Mumu Nigerians are paying them. All this way. So let's see. Management fee, 1%. See, 1%. It's even negotiable, but you can pay 1%. Facility enhancement fee, negotiable. Maximum of 1%. Restructuring fee. See, can you see now? I don't have money and I want to restructure my loan. Negotiable. You will negotiate it. Not that someone will enforce it on you that 50% is my negotiation. There is nothing like that. Subject to, read it yourself. Negotiable, subject to a maximum of 0.5% on outstanding amount being restructured, and it's a one-off charge. Let us get sense now. Nigerians, don't forget your sense at home. Always go with your sense. ChatGPT dey with you. Restructuring 0.5%, maximum of 0.5%. Wake up from your slumber. Wake up. Commitment fee negotiable, subject to a maximum of 1%. Credit reference report, that one is not. We don't have any issue with that. Charge of consumption lending negotiable. See, everything is negotiable. So it is subject to you and the lender. You have your own part. They will not negotiate on your behalf. It is your responsibility to negotiate that this is what I'm going to do. And if you don't like it, you leave it. We meet in court. We negotiate in court. Let's wake up, man. Guys, let's wake up. If we don't fight this thing now, our unborn children will cause us. That's it. If we don't fight, because if we don't fight this now, the next generation will inherit evil. The next generation will inherit evil if we don't fight this thing. Let's wake up and fight together. That's just know your right. You don't need to know your right and start fighting. You'll be free from them. Know your right. Know what the law says. And enforce your liberty. Enforce your liberty. Enforce your liberty. Know what the law says. Enforce your liberty. This is not coming from me. This is coming from CBN. See, guide to charges by banks, other financial and non-financial institutions. Enforce your liberty, bro. Enforce your liberty. So thank you very much, and I believe this is more or less like a wake-up call, and together we can fight these criminals. Thank you, and God bless.